With Pokemon Legends Arceus right around the corner, I asked myself this question. Are there any other last minute shiny Pokemon that I would like to catch? And the answer to that question was, oh yeah. In fact, there were so many that I had to make a list and split them all into different games. The first game I decided to hunt in was Pokemon Legends Arceus. And while Legends Arceus is notoriously known for being really easy to shiny hunt in, the whole hunt in the game itself wasn't exactly a cakewalk. I've never really done a video like this before, so if you do enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. But without further interruption, let's get right into it. So before we begin, let me tell you the Pokemon that I would be hunting first. This was Alakazam. If you didn't already know, in Legends Arceus, Abra is known to kinda, just casually teleport away whenever it gets scared. I've heard a lot of reports about this hunt being really hard for a lot of people, and I wasn't exactly looking forward to doing it that much. I'd also failed a shiny Kadabra a while ago with Snow Point Temple, and so this was kind of redemption, so this is kind of something that I just had to do. So in this game, I would of course be hunting using the mass or massive mass outbreak features, which is basically just there's a spot where a lot of Pokemon are spawning, you catch the Pokemon, if one's shiny, yay, if it's not, oh well, find another outbreak of the Pokemon. And Abra was unfortunately kind of rare to get in mass outbreaks, but in mass outbreaks, it was actually really common. In fact, I would see multiple spawns of it throughout massive mass outbreaks. So that was simple. Just go to the massive mass outbreak, find the Pokemon you were looking for by giving Agwalf berries to Munchlax, because I don't know who in their right mind is going to go track them all down. That actually used to be me, but yeah, simple, right? I had been to several outbreaks of this thing, and I had still not got it shiny. So I decided to do something called perfecting its Pokedex entry. And thankfully, since Abra spawned in a lot of massive mass outbreaks in a lot of different places, I could easily complete his dex entry this way. I just went to tons of massive mass outbreaks, caught some, battled some, and things were actually going really swell. I was getting a lot of research done on it, and in no time, I would have his Pokedex entry completed. And so one day, I was playing, of course, and I had finished a mass outbreak when a little message popped up on my screen. A new horde seems to have formed. And that's actually a good thing. Basically, there's a little tiny chance in every single outbreak you go to that you could potentially have the outbreak continue, either with the Pokemon's evolved form, or a horde of that Pokemon in their alpha form. And to my surprise, they actually did spawn in alpha. So I was like, oh great, now I can get some dex entry work done without having to worry about them running away from me and just ruining the entire thing. However, this actually went very different from what I expected. And before you ask, no, they did not KO me, no. So what happened was, in the middle of trying to perfect its Pokedex entry, one of them actually spawned as a shiny. Not only had I found a shiny Abra, but I had found a shiny Alpha Abra, which I don't know how rare that is, but hey, I was gonna take it. Unfortunately, there was barely any footage, but we'll salvage it later. Don't worry about how for now. I had decided, of course, to just move on, keep hunting, but then something very, very, very perplexing happened. I found another. Told you I salvaged the footage, didn't I? Things were going pretty smoothly and pretty regularly. Until I found another shiny Abra. Thankfully, this was the end of my shiny Abra chain. I traded one away to a friend. I went on to evolve the Alpha Shiny Abra into an Alpha Shiny Alakazam thing. So yeah, that was Abra. It was surprisingly pretty bountiful of a hunt, and I was really thinking that maybe we could just cheese and breeze for the rest of this. No, we could not. Because the next one was, I think, by far, out of this hunt, the hardest one. And that one was Gengar. Now, what made this one so hard? To be honest with you, I have no idea, because same like Abra, it spawned in tons of massive mass outbreaks and even regular outbreaks. So if I had so many to spawn, Why would they be so hard? Again, I don't know. It just didn't want to show up shiny. You know how many Ghastly alone I caught? I think about 147. And that's just one of the 3 evolutionary stages that it has. I had even thought about perfecting their dex entries. And honestly, I was struggling like, which one should I perfect first? Ghastly, Haunter, or Gengar? I don't know. I was going insane. And at that rate, I kind of sort of just dropped it. And I decided to move on to something else, but don't worry, we'll get back to Gengar. So the real second one was Lopunny. There's only really one reason I wanted this shiny, and it's the same reason for Alakazam. Can you guess why? Just think, what do those two have in common? Lopunny, it was a bit of a rarer Pokemon to spawn in Outbreaks. I had been to a few Outbreaks, not too many, and I just kind of had no success. I mean, and then especially due to the fact that they run away from you. I think the most specialist hunt I've done, one of the most special hunts that I have done in this challenge. So I had went to a Baneri outbreak. I think the horde had continued on and a bunch of Lopunny spawn, and unfortunately, no, I did not get the shiny. But then I said these words to myself, and the effect that they had were really crazy. So the words I said were, and I quote, maybe I should go check out the shiny Alpha Lopunny. That makes no sense, does it? Exactly, because that's not what I meant to say. I meant to swap out the word shiny for static, because in Obsidian Fieldlands, in that one forest place where you fight Cleavor, there is actually a static Alpha Lopunny spawn. And I mean, not that it couldn't be a shiny spawn, it's just that I had accidentally said the word shiny like there's a guaranteed shiny just waiting for me. I mean, it would be pretty crazy if it did happen, right? But then again, like the odds of a static alpha spawning shiny in the wild, I mean, like, that's pretty crazy, right? Oh, okay, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not only did I literally predict what was going to happen, but I did it by accident. I didn't even mean to say that. I meant to say static. And honestly, in my head, I was thinking, hey, that's a silly idea. Like, it's ever gonna be shiny. Well, yeah. You know, that's kind of a reminder for me. Remember, anything is possible sometimes. Alrighty, so the next hunt I decided to go for was actually pretty interesting, and this was Lilligant. And since normal Pokemon can't spawn in the wild unless they're in a massive mass outbreak of their pre-evolved form, I thought this was going to be kind of hard. And on top of that, I had been hunting shiny Petalil and Legends Arceus since before I even thought of doing this challenge. Since before I'd made the list, since before anything, and I had zero success. This was actually pretty hard. I think harder than Baneri's a little bit, because I think Petalil only literally had one place it could spawn, and that was the Crimson Mirelands. This was a pretty interesting hunt. There had been several different outcomes, like Alpha Petalil spawns, the horde continuing with a bunch of Hisuian Lilligant that would straight up just start boxing you left and right. And I'd actually found another shiny I was hunting for in the middle of this, but we're not gonna go over that just yet. One day, yeah, I just remember it like it was yesterday. I was flying to a Petalil outbreak. It was actually in a quite unusual place. It was in one of those sludgy places where they have that mud that looks like it's lava. And when I had flown over there, I had found it. I had found the shiny Hisuian Lilligant. Right there, right in front of me. It was such a beautiful moment. I have a confession to make though. Unfortunately, I did not record this, so I had to get pretty creative with the footage that I gave you. Oh my gosh, wow, oh, that's a shiny. I think we should address the elephant in the room, Gengar. I completely, literally just skipped over it. This was the most time-taxing, if not mental taxing, because it's just like, again, continuous disappointment. I had tried so many, so many, to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to perfect Haunter's dex entry, since it is the one that spawns most frequently. And then guess what happened? All the Haunter outbreaks just started disappearing. it had gotten to such a low point that I decided to perfect Gengar and Hunter's dex entries at the same time. And honestly, you might be like, why would you even want a shiny Gengar? It's not even that good of a shiny. I'm pretty sure you can guess that. It's the same reason for Alakazam and Lopunny. Can you guess why in the comments? Gengar and Hunter's dex research was just going up and up and up and up. And alas, no shiny yet. Honestly, I just wanted to give up and call it quits. But, you know, this is another lesson. No matter how hard it gets, just don't give up. After all that time, finally had a shiny Hunter spawn in. It took, I don't even know how many capture. I never want to do that again, ever. So yeah, remember what I said about Lilligant, how I found another shiny while hunting it, for example? Yeah, so it's time to go over that one. Now, this one was just like the Alpha Lopunny. It was pretty abrupt, so there's not really too much to say on it. This one would be Steelix. Steelix, I was gonna go to Onyx outbreaks and such, you know. And I remember I'd gotten a massive outbreak in Crimson Mirelands where Onyx and Petalil both happened to spawn. I don't know if I had gotten a Petalil outbreak or not, but either way, I didn't get the shiny Petalil at that time. So I go to the Onyx outbreak, and then like, bam, shiny Onyx right there. I don't think I have the footage of this, but I mean, I do have the footage of it evolving into Steelix. Again, not much to really say on Steelix, except for the fact that it looks so clean, bro. Like, look at that. So the next one I would be hunting would be Hisui and Zoru. At first, I didn't even really want shiny Hisui and Zorua. One of my friends was like, oh yeah, I want shiny Hisui and Zorua, you know? And eventually, I had been convinced to start hunting shiny Hisui and Zorua. Thankfully, they spawn in outbreaks quite frequently in multiple areas. I started hunting, and man, let me tell you, that thing was not showing up for nobody's nothing, alright? And as a normal reaction to this, I decided, hey, what if I perfect this Pokedex entry? At this rate in the story, you'd probably expect it to just pop up shiny while I was trying to perfect this dex entry, right? Well, no, not this one. This one was that stubborn to the point where I was actually able to perfect Hisui and Zorua's Pokedex entry all the way, and then some. After all that, I had still found nothing. And again, like Hunter, there had gotten to a point where I just did not find any more of the outbreaks. Like, oh great, yeah. How can you shiny hunt something when you can't even find something? I had heard of this thing being sought after a lot, but I didn't know it was kind of hard to find, or maybe that was just me. This thing was actually costing me some money and resources in the game. So then I had to go grind and get all of it back so I could start hunting it again. And then once again, you know what it decides to do? It decides to be like, hee, I'm not spawning in any more outbreaks anymore. You just spent all that money for nothing. Until one day, we did get an outbreak of it. Let me tell you, this is one of the best shiny hunting reactions I've had in a few months. Here's the footage. After all that trouble, even going and perfecting its Pokedex entry to the fullest and then some, we had finally gotten shiny Hisui and Zorua. I had at this rate caught like some really rare shinies. I had caught shiny Abra, shiny Alpha Abra, shiny Alpha Lopunny, and now shiny Hisui and Zorua. Oh, and shiny Noble Lilligant. While we're talking about this, here's some bonus shinies that I found along the way. You know how I said Zorua was spawned in actually a lot of places in massive outbreaks? They were there in the Obsidian Fieldlands, right? I flew over an outbreak that they had, And to my surprise, this actually happened. Now, wait a minute. You heard the shiny sound, but am I the only one who feels like they just heard it played twice? It actually did. This had to be, out of all the occurrences I've had during this challenge, the most unexplainable, random, and probably the most confusing. I didn't even wanted it that way. I mean, of course, I would have taken another one, but I didn't even want it. After I had spawned in a crazy alpha and another crazy alpha, hunted down a noble Pokemon, hunted down a Gen 1 mascot, got an abrupt shiny out of nowhere, and got an insane success with Hisui and Zorua, there was only one left. This, my friends, was Eevee. Eevee spawns in pretty much every single game it's been in have been so low. They don't even spawn in mass outbreaks. It just has to be a single one Pokemon. That's being Eevee. I started resetting like crazy. And there's been even some times where I had gone, maybe to mass outbreak in the Alabasta Icelands or something, maybe because there's another Pokemon that I kind of wanted to get shiny. So I flew over there, and then once the outbreak was done, I flew to see if I could spawn in a shiny Eevee in the wild. No, it wasn't like that, because for some reason Ambipom were taking up all the spawns. Like, get out of my face, Ambipom. Nobody likes you, bro. JK. Thankfully, I had already way back in some past time perfected Eevee's Pokedex. After all that resetting, I had actually come across an Eevee outbreak to get nothing. And that had been something that I had even worried about. Like, okay, hopefully I get it as soon as I get the outbreak, because if not, it could take ages to get another outbreak of it. Thankfully, I was wrong. I come across a second outbreak. And man, oh man, I was like so just confused. Like, okay, we just got 2 Eevee outbreaks really quickly. I don't know if there's like a bonus if you keep going to one area or anything like that, but bro, let me tell you, it was so satisfying to see it again on the screen. So I went to that outbreak after hesitating like 8 times, because I was like, oh man, I just really don't want to fail this time, you know. So I flew to the outbreak and I proceeded to just catch all the Eevee. Thankfully, since I had smoke bombs, I was being smart, and I don't know if I fed it, but yeah, we were being smart in this outbreak. And to be honest with you, we were catching quite a bit of them, and eventually I got kind of scared. Like, oh dude, what if it ends on me and I have to do it again? I don't know. Yes, that was literally the last spawn in the entire outbreak, and it was shiny right there. Dude, that... I did evolve it into a Leafeon. Cue the footage of that. And that was the end of it. In all, I had caught Alpha Alakazam, Gengar, Alpha Lopunny, Hisuian Noble Religions, Steelix, Hisuian Zorua, and Leafeon. Again, I've never really done a video like this, so if you did enjoy, make sure to say so in the comments and hit that like and subscribe button. But yeah, oh my gosh. After doing all that, I can indeed say these things, man. Never give up for one, because I felt like doing it several times, but I mean, in the end, I managed to pull out. If something has low odds even, it is still possible. Hard work pays off, I guess. You just watched me explain to you how I caught every single one of my dream shiny Pokemon in Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'll see you guys later. Bye.